Bangladesh saw parallel turbulence when Sheikh Hasina was removed from office in 2024 amid student-led protests. At the heart of that crisis lay her refusal to cede St. Martin's Island, a strategically located maritime outpost, to US interests. New Delhi's refusal to align with the Western Russia and Iran has further widened the gap for external powers accustomed to a more predictable Indian foreign policy. Namaskar friends, I welcome you all to the Uday Bharat National, and in Baat Bharat Ki I want to tell you today about the intersecting pressures, geopolitics, trade, frictions and electoral narratives in India. Recent events surrounding India's trade relations, domestic political climate and foreign policy posture raise questions about whether the confluence of pressure is coincidental or indicative of a coordinated external strategy. The period following Operation Sindoor has seen an unusual overlap between heightened geopolitical frictions and politically charged internal narratives. Operation Sindoor, a high-stakes military engagement, produced outcomes that unsettled multiple global players. While India denied reports of Rafale losses, former US President Donald Trump repeatedly claimed personal credit for a ceasefire, a narrative firmly rejected by Modi government. Trump's simultaneous push for many trade deal tailored to his domestic business lobby met with Indian resistance, followed by the imposition of a 50% tariff on Indian goods under the pretext of India's continued purchase of Russian oil. Notably, China was spared from similar measures, with political voices in Washington describing trade actions against Beijing as complicated. The geopolitical fallout extended well beyond the US-India bilateral space. For Washington, Operation Sindoor not only exposed vulnerabilities in Pakistan's nuclear deterrent, but also resulted in the loss of an F-16, a reputational setback. India's refusal to purchase F-35 fighter jets and to soften its trade stand compounded US frustration. In Pakistan, Asim Munir's elevation to Field Marshal status was framed domestically as a show of military supremacy, even as his reported engagement with US leadership signaled deeper strategic coordination. Bangladesh saw parallel turbulence when Sheikh Hasina was removed from office in 2024 amid student-led protests. At the heart of that crisis lay her refusal to cede St. Martin's Island, a strategically located maritime outpost, to US interests. The subsequent installation of a more compliant leadership under Muhammad Yunus has coincided with significant socio-political instability. China too emerged from Operation Sindoor at a disadvantage. Its defense systems suffered reputational damage, its media narratives were undermined, and its arms sales momentum slowed as Russian air defenses and Indian missile system drew global attention. This compounded Beijing's strategic unease over India's expanding autonomous defense capabilities. At the core of these tensions lies the Modi government's strategic posture, which diverges from the precedent of seeking prior Western endorsement for major security actions, from surgical strikes to abrogation of Article 370 and more recently Operation Sindoor. India's actions have been unilateral in execution Additionally, the Make in India and Self-Reliance initiatives have challenged entrenched Western defense and industrial suppliers. New Delhi's refusal to align with the Western Russia and Iran has further widened the gap for external powers accustomed to a more predictable Indian foreign policy. These trends these trends are unwelcome. The prospect of a political shift in New Delhi presents a means to recalibrate the relationship on more favorable terms. Historically, attempts to destabilize the current government have resurfaced moments of political vulnerability. From Citizenship Amendment Act protest to the farmer agitation, both of which, while rooted in domestic issues, saw efforts at external amplification. The latest vector of pressure has emerged through allegations of large-scale irregularities in the electoral roll. Data selectively highlighting Hindu names has been used to imply that ruling party disproportionately benefits from the duplication. Bangalore Central has been prominently cited in this contest at parallel sieges such as Dhule in Maharashtra, where Congress on similar conditions received little attention. Both Congress and BJP hold 14 seats each with margins under 20,000 votes, yet the narrative remains asymmetrical. Critically, these allegations have not been advanced through judicial or parliamentary process. Instead, they have been propagated via social media and informal networks, amplifying public distrust without institutional adjudication. This mode of political contestation risks eroding the procedural safeguards of democratic governance, narrowing the gap between legitimate dissent and systematic destabilization. In assessing these interesting pressures, post-Operation Sindoor strategic shifts, punitive trade measures, and politicized electoral narratives, the convergence of external strategic objectives and internal political contestations is notable. Whether coordinated or opportunistically aligned, such developments underscore the vulnerability of democratic systems to multi-domain influence operations. For India, the challenge will lie in safeguarding institutional integrity while navigating an increasingly contested geopolitical environment. That's all for today. Stay tuned with Uday Bharat National. Bande Mataram.